Okay, let's talk really quickly about cloture and what the Senate Democrats are doing. So I have go watched a couple videos before this one. I was optimistic yesterday and thought like, oh, Senate Democrats are getting their head in the game. And then late last night, it appeared to be that what was happening was Senate Democrats were hoping to hoodwink us, the voters. They were playing games with us. They had every intention of letting this continuing resolution and the slush fund attached to it that would just let Donald Trump, do it, and Elon Musk keep doing what they're doing, dismantling the federal government. They were going to let that go through. They were going to play games to make it look like they were trying to do something, but it was never going to go anywhere. And they were going to give tacit approval. They were going to give up their 60 vote control by allowing a cloture vote and then allowing Republicans to push through the continuing resolution in a simple majority. So when I found out this happened, I made a video about it. Again, you can go watch it. It immediately got 100,000 views on YouTube. And people were pissed. I have thousands and thousands of people in my comments saying, how dare you think that you were going to deceive your voters? That you think we are so stupid as to believe that this was a meaningful attempt to defend democracy. How dare you? Thousands of people in my comments being like, if they want to see another penny of mine ever, they will not play games with me like this. People saying, great, I am looking forward to primarying the Senate Democrat in my state. And we've had members of the House, including my Congresswoman, urging Senate Democrats to hold the line, to not allow this continuing resolution to go through. So what we saw is Senate Democrats willing to give up the only power and leverage that they have in the Senate by agreeing to a cloture vote. Right now, 60 votes, that means that the Senate Democrats have leverage. And they were like willing to just offer it up. For what? For what? A symbolic gesture that was going to go nowhere of like, oh, we want an amendment that we know will get voted down, but then we'll let you push through this horrible continuing resolution. Once again, we saw Senate Democrats that were like, let's just roll over for fascism. Let's continue to be weak and feckless. So what we saw this morning was folks in droves, thousands and thousands of people clogging up the switchboard, calling their senators and saying, don't you fucking dare. Don't you hold the line. Don't you betray your voter base this way. Do not let this resolution in the slush fund that it will hand over to Donald Trump. Do not let that go through. Do not give up your power by allowing a cloture vote. And how dare you attempt to deceive us by being like, we're not going to vote for the resolution, but then not telling us that you will vote no on the cloture. So this is where I want you to be a little bit encouraged, because what we are seeing now as a result of us turning out in droves to go clogging the congressional switchboard, filling up voicemails, sending emails to say, don't you dare, you hold the line. You stand up for democracy. Do not give up the only leverage that you have, and do not roll over for fascism once again. Like, grow a fucking spine. Do not betray your voter base. You will regret it. You will destroy the Democratic Party if you do this to us. Result of that is that we are seeing several Democratic senators who have made public statements, videos on their social media saying they will vote no on cloture. Now, of course, that doesn't matter if there are enough of them that will still vote yes. The Republicans only need 8 votes. What we're seeing here is that there are still undecided senators, including last I checked, one of my senators, Ron Wyden. And actually, Jeff Merkley's office, when I called, they wouldn't tell me how he was going to vote on cloture. They just said that policy decisions around that I needed to email, and they would send an email response, but it would come after the vote. So what good would that do? I got no reassurances from either of my senators' offices. We're hearing from undecided senators that, like, this is a terrible position to be put in. So what we're hearing from undecided senators is that they feel that there are 2 awful options in front of them. Okay, that's the fault of the Republicans. And they are worried if we have a government shutdown that the Democrats will be blamed. Okay, then you need to get in front of the messaging. You need to communicate to the American people. This is the fault of the folks who are in power, the Republicans. This is the fault of Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Republicans in the House and the Senate, because they have the power. Democrats are afraid that they are going to get blamed for a shutdown, but they do not understand the wrath of their own voters if they are complicit in laying down for fascism. I'm like, sorry, Democrats, there's no easy win here. There's no great choice. Either way, it's a sucky choice, because this is where Republicans have put us as a nation. Senate Democrats who are saying we cannot afford a shutdown, do you not understand that Elon Musk has been systematically shutting down the federal government since January 20? The largest federal employee union says the same thing. They're saying he's already doing that, and he will continue to do it with reckless abandon. Like, please look at the bigger picture here. Elon Musk is committing a coup and trying to dismantle the federal government. A shutdown now? Okay, fine. He's already shutting it all down. He's already doing that. Why would you just hand him a giant slush fund to expedite that process? Appreciated Tim, like your Cascadia flag, by the way, on Blue Sky, who said this. The options before Democrats are this. One, voting no on cloture and saying that they do not support the Trump and Musk destruction of the government and the Constitution. They're not willing to give them a blank check to destroy America. The other option is that they vote for cloture and they support the destruction of our government and our democracy. Like, it's not that hard, y'all. And I'm reading from Talking Points memo here. I'm going to quote what a couple of senators have said. One senator, Kristen Gillibrand from New York, was heard shouting at her colleagues from inside the meeting room, saying that they are complicit in the shutdown and imploring them to recognize this will not be a normal shutdown. Nothing about what is happening in America is normal. We are in the middle of a coup, Senator Gillibrand. She says the VA will not be functioning. Various NIH trials will be shut down. What the fuck do you think Elon Musk has been doing since January 20th? They are already not functioning. The trials, cancer research, Alzheimer's research have already been stopped. She said she's worried Trump will declare a state of emergency if we have a shutdown. Okay, so you want to comply in advance. That's what I'm hearing. It's like folks who tell me we shouldn't protest because then Trump says he'll enact martial law. Right, so when you comply in advance, you are voluntarily giving up your freedom. Senator Lujan from New Mexico said Republicans are the ones who are complicit in shutting down the government. It's already happening. It's been happening. It is Republicans in the House and Republicans in the Senate that are complicit in allowing the president to violate the law. That's what Kristen Gillibrand doesn't seem to understand. The messaging is terrible. It is Republicans who are doing this. Y'all have got to figure out how to improve your messaging and make it accurate and persuasive. Senator Warner said there's two awful options when you turn power over to one team entirely and folks you work with in this body lay down. Those are two awful options. Adding that he's a no on the cloture vote. Thank you. Kate Riga in Talking Points memo says Democrats are not at all eager to let the government shut down, but many and increasingly more find the GOP continuing resolution detestable. Again, it's not Democrats who are allowing the government to be shut down. It is Republicans who are doing this. Republicans are the ones who are fucking up. If they had wanted a continuing resolution that was passable, then they shouldn't have done it behind closed doors while shutting out every Democrat in the Senate. They shouldn't have included a slush fund for Donald Trump. They shouldn't have done it in a way that guts VA benefits and FEMA benefits. They shouldn't have done it in a way that enables Elon Musk to continue to violate the Constitution. Republicans have done this. Jean Shaheen from New Hampshire said she's undecided on how she's going to vote. She said she's weighing her options. What gives Donald Trump the least ability to control spending? This alludes to what TPM has written about. Previously, Democrats are concerned that a shutdown would further enable Trump's raising of the federal government. But the GOP continuing resolution with its slush fund does the same thing. It enables him to rampage either way. One of the things I will never understand is the spinelessness and the lack of strategy from Democratic leadership. They cannot get the job done. Now, you might argue that's because they're controlled opposition and they don't actually want to get the job done. But I do not understand how they can be this flaccid, how they can be so ineffectual. Mitch McConnell would not have let anybody go to the other side and vote for cloture. Chuck Schumer does not appear to have good control over the Democrats. He said, it is quite the indictment of Senate Dems that we cannot trust them to do the right thing, even when we're holding their feet to the fire, and the alternative for them is tacit support for fascism. This moment highlights what kind of Dem leadership we needed and how terribly short they fall. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry that in this moment in history, that the majority of our elected officials in Congress, they are not the kind of leaders that we needed and deserved. That we're not just fighting against this fascist regime, but we are fighting against the folks who are supposed to be pro-democracy and are supposed to be the opposition to fascism. I'm sorry that we have to expend this effort to call them, to dog on them, to have our boots on their necks, that we have to hold them to the line if they will not hold themselves to it. I'm sorry that we are required to expend that kind of labor. Yes, they are a disappointment. Perpetually. But I just want us to be encouraged that we, the people, we are the ultimate source of power. We will save ourselves. We can leverage Democrats. We can say, all right, we understand that you're not really partners with us in this fight, but maybe there are ways you can still be useful. And so we will still keep the pressure on you to fucking nut up and do the right thing. And they are appearing to listen as more and more of them are like, we can't vote for cloture. But I do think it's important that we do not let that pressure up for a second. I'm sorry that we're going to have to keep it up. I am sorry that it seems like it's going to have to be this way throughout the entire fight to restore our democracy, that we will have to drag Democrats in Congress kicking and screaming. They should be leading the way. And some of them are, especially some of the folks in Congress. I'm grateful for their support and allyship and partnership. We'll see where this vote falls out. I hope Democrats are ready with their messaging, and I hope that they are adequately prepared for our reaction.